Hello, welcome to Nerd News Now for January 14th, 2019. I'm Mark, this is Miss Jen, and this is Ashford. Big week this week. We have Punisher Season 2 on Netflix. Speaking of Netflix, they're getting sued by Choose Your Own Adventure. You know what? Every single time I read a Choose Your Own Adventure book, I drowned. It didn't matter what location, what page I turned to. It doesn't matter at all. And also, Game of Thrones, they don't care, comes out April 14th. If you start right now today, you can watch every episode once a day and get all caught up. But if you watch Nerd News Now right now, will have seen one episode of Nerd News. Guys, lots going on this week and not a lot going on this week because, the year has started. We already talked last week about, everything that happened over the break, the last year. We're going into award season, so a lot of the, film publishers are kind of focused on that. But we did officially have Aquaman reach $1 billion.
Inflation through the roof.
I mean, maybe.
He sold 47 tickets at $1,893.
Have you ever done that D box that's like $24 a ticket?
You know what's really fun? Just sitting in the row near it and getting all the effects of it, but not paying for it.
Yeah. I mean, if you like to be interrupted every 2 seconds. I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of it.
No. It is kind of like, it takes you out of the film instead of putting you more into it, just in my opinion.
But inflation aside, it swam its way to the top. So it's in like the top 40 of that. Now, what's interesting is the director, James Wan, he is one of only 7 directors to have 2 movies that they directed in the $1 billion club.
You know what's interesting? It's going to be interesting to see where Warner Brothers DCEU go as far as, usually when we think DC, we're thinking Batman and Superman. Now with Wonder Woman and Aquaman doing so well, how will they pivot?
Yeah.
So, going forward.
It will also be interesting to see, like, what does this do for the expectations of Shazam? Because that's the next DC movie. I mean, do you think DC thinks, like, oh, we finally got a formula now? And if so, do you think that they were consistent while that was being produced? Like, did they have the foresight to know, okay, Aquaman worked because of this, this, and that? Make sure you get over to the set of Shazam and make sure that happens. Now, it looks like a lighthearted trailer, right?
And do you know what they're rating it? What are they rating it for?
It should be PG-13, but I don't know. I mean, it's not going to be R, so.
I think this will be like comics as far as, let's say you have 52 main titles, 36 through 52 might be something where this would be on the niche thing, and we can catch some people that aren't really with this, that's fine. And then if it ends up climbing its way up to the top, then we'll somehow think, how can we hook this in? But Shazam, as far as in the DC universe, is a peripheral character. It could work if it wasn't in the plans that they had maybe 2.5 years ago.
I agree with that. I think it can stand on its own. I think that I'm hoping that they really do keep that levity in it. They just make it fun. Help us just escape from all the things that are happening in our day. Just have a feel-good popcorn movie. It would be okay by me.
And I don't expect it to do anywhere near this worldwide as far as what Aquaman did. Because the interesting thing about Aquaman is it's barely just now passing 275 possible sequels. So for everyone that doesn't have Tom Cruise fatigue, maybe people are interested in this. Well, no, actually, the last one, Mission Impossible Fallout, was the highest grossing of the series. So they weren't going to stop on that.
I was going to say it was really good.
But on Tom Cruise's Instagram, he confirmed it's going to be summer 2021 and summer 2022. I guess they're worried because just in the same way they have to shoot like 2 or 3 Stranger Things seasons at a time because they're worried about the kids aging. Is that what's happening to Tom Cruise right now?
He doesn't age.
Okay.
Ever since Interview with the Vampire, that he didn't realize he was in until 6 months later.
Maybe they're just shooting 2 for 1 for tax purposes. Then.
Yeah.
But now, what do you think about something like that? Like that has been around so long, and when it came out, when we were younger, Mission Impossible came out. We were like, "What's Mission Impossible?" And some adults were excited, but it ended up being this epic rendition of what the TV show had used to be. But what do you think that this is still going? Like,
This is America's James Bond. So I think this is a good thing. This is like our staple,
I think they keep on finding new ways to make it just like ridiculous that he still both interacts with the government but is being hunted down by them. Like every time they find a new creative way to do that, and with great success. I don't think I've ever watched one and be like, this is a yawn fest of an idea. It's always like, this makes all the sense. Let's watch him run around and drive cars fast and do impossible stuff.
And that's probably something they used to do on like the TV show, but you would have to do that 30 times a year versus once every 3 years. So a little bit more flexibility there. The reason they're waiting till 2021 and 2022 is because Maverick's going to come out before that, and they really don't want to give people Tom Cruise fatigue.
So like the Western?
No, like the Top Gun sequel.
Oh, yeah. I'm so sorry.
Which is even crazier that's
is that Viceman? That's all I care about, really.
Well, we'll see. I mean, health pending. I mean, I think he's been doing some stuff.
Pull it together.
My favorite Batman.
Yeah, and then so with social media, it gets kind of wild sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. And it also gets like just silly and ridiculous. But a fan was on Twitter begging Tom Holland through a video attachment. Like, I need to see a Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. Like, what's taking so long? Like, make this happen. Like, this guy has any ability to just go, oh, yeah, let me just send it to you on my phone or whatever. But now people are starting to think because of that we're about to see a Far From Home trailer. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited about that. But there's also kind of a little pushback because obviously, and we're going to, spoilers, so earmuffs for the next minute or so, if you don't want to know what happened in Infinity War. But, I mean, are they going to, like, empty the Dustbuster and he's going to be fine? Or what? Because, like, in the trailer, you're going to have to show Peter Parker, and he's going to, like, oh, he's fine. And obviously the movie's going to come out in July, so it's going to be after we've seen the fourth Avengers Endgame. So we will know by then. But I guess for the trailer purposes, I'm wondering if there's a little bit of pushback from Disney to Sony. Like, I know you need to sell tickets to your movie, and we get a part of that because of the Spider-Man deal, but just wait. Because it's not really something they need to promote, right? I mean, I don't think, like, now Captain Marvel came out last week. It's already projected to get 140 million plus because they started selling tickets 2 months early. But you can still sell tickets 2 months early if you wait for Endgame to come out.
You know what would be interesting is that they figured out some creative way to give some footage, but have it be clear that it's footage that is flashback from before. Okay.
Yeah.
Or
they can do this.
Or maybe just a character trailer for Mysterio. Because I think that'll get people pumped up with Jake Gyllenhaal being Mysterio. I'm hoping he does for that role what Michael Keaton did for the Vulture, where I always saw the Vulture as just this silly old man that's flying around. Mm-hmm. But Michael Keaton's performance was so awesome, it gave me like a renewed hope for all the current Spider-Man stuff. Because the Andrew Garfield stuff kind of missed on a lot of levels. But I'm loving Tom Holland as a younger Peter Parker, and I'm hoping like this Sinister Six is formed of like villains you care about. So we'll see. It's gonna be interesting. And then finally, on the DC side of things, this movie was kind of hinted at last year, but now for the Blue Beetle movie, they're saying that Booster Gold is going to be attached to that. Ashford, what is a Booster Gold? Because that sounds like a Pokemon card that people used to chase in the 2000s.
Yeah, so Booster Gold, he's from the future, and I guess he's like a has-been loser, and he somehow gets to our present. So he has these super abilities, but in Justice League International, that's where, especially in the 80s, he and Blue Beetle, they were like a double act. So they kind of like one and the same. But when you talk about Booster Gold, that means time travel can happen. Yes. And that's when mistakes can happen all of a sudden. Instead of going like, well, when's the next superhero movie? 57 people could show up at once. So I'm excited about this. I read this, they did this countdown. Remember when DC did the Countdown comics?
Yes, absolutely.
I read the novelization, and that's when I went, oh, this Booster Gold guy is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. It was so well written. It was Batwoman, Booster Gold, and then Renee Montoya.
Yeah,
and it was just an awesome novelization.
He was actually key recently in the Tom King run of Batman because he shows up ahead of the wedding and takes Batman on a time trip to, I don't know if he was trying to like take him on some kind of epic like bachelor thing.
Bachelor.
It almost wrecked the already going to be wrecked wedding. But yeah, he means well-ish, but he's such a buffoon.
So it lends to comic acting.
Yes.
Sounds like.
And also go to issues 900 to 1000 of Action Comics because he has interactions with Superman and is pretty cool.
And as far as Blue Beetle, if you don't know whose movie it's going to be, he's like a non-insane version of Batman and Iron Man. I mean, of the DC universe.
Yeah.
From what I've read.
Because
and we've already cast the movie DC. It's Nathan Fillion and Alan Tudyk. You pick who plays who, but that's who it's going to be. Right?
Are we saying it will be a worldwide riot if that is not who it is? It must be Nathan and Ellen.
There's always worldwide riots. They don't last very long.
I wouldn't mind if it was the actor that played the Atom in the Warner Brothers TV show.
Yeah, Brandon
because
Routh.
he was going to be Blue Beetle, and they switched at the last.
I like how you went to Adam instead of the guy who used to play Superman on the big screen.
I actually like the Superman. Keep going.
But anyway,
I don't want to get in trouble.
Okay, so from the big screen to the small screen, as I mentioned in the intro teaser, Game of Thrones. They released a trailer. Everyone lost their mind, and again, it's the same thing where they showed 43 seconds, and it probably was just shot for that promo. Probably not going to have any basis on the show, but it's the there's no way to do this without spoilers, but it's the three Starks who are remaining, and they go down into the caverns under Winterfell, and they see statues of themselves, which would indicate, that they're dead.
Oh.
So it's Jon Snow, Arya, and Sansa Stark. But the big thing is that they announced that, April 14th is the beginning of the end for all this stuff.
Yep.
Now, I don't know, did either of you watch it? I'm assuming
I read the whole series. I know what's supposed to happen according to the books, but I don't know what's going on the screen.
But then he stopped. Like I saw an article recently with him where George R.R. Martin's like, I don't care like you do. That's kind of... he already got his money and he's having a great time. And he looks good in that hat. I think he has probably like 50 of those hats, whatever they're called. But I think that's going to be interesting, but it's also not going to be over because we're going to see the last 6 episodes. It's going to be epic. It's going to be awesome. But then HBO already has all these prequels lined up.
Oh, wow.
Prequel series and all this stuff. So it's going to get feverish as this goes on, but it's just funny how like every little photo or video or rendered promo, people just go nuts.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. HBO is kind of notorious for dragging their stuff out at the end. With The Sopranos, it was the writer's strike, and then for other seasons of stuff and other reasons, they kind of like just let it simmer a bit.
Welcome to the Do-Si-Do Breakfast and Barbecue. 1 mile west of I-45 on Research Forest Boulevard, right next to Sonic. Serving all of our favorites, along with all the new barbecue wonders. Woo-hoo!
For home repairs, call John Moore, where quality is guaranteed. If the problem returns, so will we. No extra charge.
Call John, get more. 730-2525.
And so on the Netflix side of things, since Netflix is like the new HBO, Punisher comes out Friday. So set your DVR for that. You can't do that on Netflix. So it comes out Friday. Look, the trailer. Have you seen the trailer?
I have not.
It is Frank Castle, and all he's doing for 2 minutes and 15 seconds is running around like a raving lunatic. So I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's all he's doing.
Is good.
No, but it looks like it's going to be... So basically, he's on the run now. He's out of the city, given the events of The Defenders and Punisher Season 1. Jigsaw is back. There's already complaints that his face isn't messed up enough, so that's our America.
Okay.
And Frank runs into a young damsel in distress who sounds like she needs a lot of bad guys to get killed for her. So it sounds like the perfect combination.
Oh, I did see that trailer.
Yeah.
They were in the truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's going to be, they're teasing, this is kind of like a bittersweet thing for Netflix. And I think that's why we haven't seen a big push, is because I don't think that they think they're going to be a part of this Marvel Disney party anymore.
Yeah,
So
is this the last of the mixing?
Jessica Jones season 3
Okay.
is already being shot, about to be in the can, and that will be later this year, and then that's going to be it. So as far as like them trying to cross promote and do any other Defender stuff, that's done. We already knew that Luke Cage and Iron Fist were officially canceled, and Daredevil got canceled, and that was like had the best chance to go on for maybe 5, 6, 7 seasons. That was very popular. But will you guys be watching that?
I won't be watching it, but I do recommend Punisher Max, one-shot story called Tiger by Ennis.
Ooh,
Good stuff. Yeah.
Ennis. Oh,
I know.
yes.
And is he running around like a lunatic?
It's a flashback to his young days.
Okay.
But he's running around like a lunatic.
Yeah. That's what I thought. And then also in kind of feverish fandom news, it doesn't come out till February 10th, but they released a teaser trailer for Walking Dead, and they finally showed Beta, who is obviously the Beta of the Whisperer, so he's second in command to Alpha. And now he's going to be played by Ryan Hurst, who is Opie on Sons of Anarchy, for all you Jax Teller fans out there. He's a big Bruges dude, but the little 43-second trailer they have, it shows them, whisper talking to each other, like, hey, everyone else doesn't belong here. If you watch the show, you know that the Whisperers were kind of violently revealed at the end of the season break. And so now it's going to be just chaos, probably.
They should not trust Negan.
No, they shouldn't trust Negan. But now there's no Rick, so I mean, now it's like anything goes.
Yeah, that's true. I always wonder what they're going to do, if they're going to follow that storyline exactly, because, man, it's brutal.
I think they're going to follow it through the end of the Whispers War, but then it's just, who knows? And now we don't... I still think what's going to happen with all the Andrew Lincoln announcements and the movies and stuff, I still think they're going to really push their AMC Plus, charge $4.95 a month for it, and then who knows? There could be like I could see a Here's Negan show. I mean, just like Robert Kirkman did the Here's Negan comic.
Yes.
We could see like almost like a sitcom-esque show of that or something. I don't know.
Watch Negan all day long.
I don't know. And then finally, as we also teased earlier, so Bandersnatch was a big hit. Maybe not as big as Bird Box, but there seems to be a debate at my job of Bird Box versus Bandersnatch. And I think Bird Box is so overhyped that now people are like, okay, let me watch that. Now, like 2-3 weeks later, after the holiday break and they need something to watch on a Tuesday night or whatever. Now they're watching Bandersnatch, which is the latest episode of the Black Mirror series, and it was the interactive video adventure. Because apparently, if you say choose your own adventure, this company named ChooseCo, and that's real, they're ChooseCo. Since the 80s, they've owned the rights to that, like choose your own adventure moniker. They sold 250 million of those books, which again had every kid drown. No matter what I picked, I always drowned.
You get lost in caves?
And then you drown. They're like, oh, you're in a cave wall and the water is filling up. Bye. Okay.
Now, see, I must have read the Kmart version, because the ones that I would check out from elementary was called Pick a Path.
Well, that's a way not to get sued.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Pick a Path.
Yeah. but what do you guys think about that? Do you think that that's something that Netflix can probably get around? Because if you read the actual release for the lawsuit, guess what? They had been talking to Netflix for 3 years about doing a Choose Your Own Adventure series, and it didn't work out.
I could see they might be mad then.
And there is a part in the movie where the guy's talking about a book, and he's like, it's a Choose Your Own Adventure book.
Yeah, they're in trouble.
Just say Pick a Path.
I think they're just going to parlay into a deal. I think that's going to be the...
Tell you what, you stop suing us, and we
make
make something with you.
But I really think if this were to take off, there could be so many comic entities that could really... Well, first of all, I would do an animated Sherlock Holmes series.
Yeah.
But then maybe like Batman after that.
This is a genre now.
It's a genre. I mean,
I
especially
like
if you go the animated route, and then I mean that's a lot of drawing, but probably easier than that to film. But yeah, 250 million choose your own adventure books.
That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome.
I used to get hand cramps from sticking my fingers in the pages to remember where I was supposed to go back.
I used to think it was awesome, but I also used to think those shirts that change color were awesome, and then I just realized people are seeing where you're sweating at. But anyway, so look, here's the deal. We don't do a whole lot of video game talk on this show because we have a show hosted by Stevie Wonder named Inner Gamer. So check that out. That's on woodlandsonline.com where you can find re-airs of this show, episodes of Nerd News Now on demand. But over the holiday break, they released a trailer for Ultimate Alliance 3. Do you guys remember the Ultimate Alliance series, the action RPG that was like heavy with Marvel characters probably 9-10 years ago?
Oh gosh, I do remember that thing.
Well, it's just because it was like the first game to really, like, I guess for lack of a better word, monetize on everyone's love for Marvel, but in video game form, right? I mean, you had Marvel vs. Capcom, but that was like, at the time it was like 12 characters.
Yeah.
This had like 30 to 40 characters, and it was, most people were familiar with the name Final Fantasy, but that's more of like a standard RPG where you gotta like get all these potions and do all these battles and learn these spells. But Marvel Ultimate Alliance, you're just mashing buttons. But you still like gain levels and strengthen your characters. Well, they announced, in December that Square Enix is going to be producing this game with Nintendo Switch exclusively. So that's going to give the Switch another good exclusive, but it's going to be based on the Black Order.
Okay.
So the trailer's awesome. So check that out. Just Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 teaser trailer. It's got Thanos. It's got all the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's got Crystal from Fantastic Four. I'm very excited for this because I would imagine now, and since it has Wolverine in the trailer, now we're going to be all in and be able to combine everyone again and be happy. So because there's some games out there where it's like, why aren't they using the X-Men or why aren't they using the Fantastic Four? Well, now everything's going to be combined. So I really think that this game is going to be awesome. There's already 30 playable characters. You can pre-order it, and so they still have yet to release like a full list. So that's
some are just going to be unlockable, or the unlock characters.
Yeah, they're usually unlockable as you go.
Yep.
Being an action RPG, I mean, I remember the first one was a good couch co-op game. You could have 4 friends playing with you. Okay. But any RPGs can be anywhere from like 20 to 100 hours. But this one is action RPG, so maybe like 16 to 20 if you're I mean, with replayability.
I'm sure people will be announcing one day after releases how many times they beat it.
Yeah. And then just in video game movie news, there's now a new director for the Uncharted movie, and at one point I would have said there would have been a riot if Nathan Fillion wasn't Nathan Drake, because it just if you look at the picture of Nathan Drake, who's the character of this adventure game, it just looks like him. It's clearly him. But I'm excited because the director is going to be Dan Trachtenberg, who directed 10 Cloverfield Lane. And now that 10 Cloverfield Lane stars the actress Mary Elizabeth Winstead that's going to be playing the Huntress in Birds of Prey, I have a 1% chance of making Ashford watch 10 Cloverfield Lane. But Tom Holland is still going to be Nathan Drake, which I have mixed emotions about just because I still see him as pretty young right now. But
maybe his voice, without seeing him, is different. Yeah.
Maybe. But I mean, it's going to be live action. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. All right, well, let's get now to your specialty, Miss Jen, which is comics for this week.
Yes.
A couple I jotted down that I kind of caught my eye. One is from IDW, Shredder in Hell. So apparently at some point Shredder died, so no turtle soup for him.
No.
And then Uncanny X-Men 10 is the end of this disassembled event that they're trying to relaunch Uncanny X-Men with.
I've got advanced knowledge that that's not the only thing that ends.
Okay. And so with that, just take it away.
Don't miss number 10.
All right. So
I know we're 10 in. I think that's the end of the weeklies. I'm not 100% certain about
I think
that.
it is because it's the end of that disassembled event, which was
Mhm.
one per week. So I think that
Yeah.
is the end of the weeklies. Now, are they? I guess they're going to keep continuing with the numbering, just like slow it back to 2 a month, probably.
I think so.
Okay.
Because I think it was like, it's a lot to ask anyone to like every week buy the same book with their paycheck. So, yes, I have advanced knowledge that there's something really, really big that happens into that book. We're all in great anticipation of the storyline that's coming out next, which is Age of, and I can't ever remember anything when I need it. But also, we have big storylines that are coming up for X-Man. Both of those things are going to be really big for the universe going forward. And I also understand that there's something amazing that happens in Fantastic Four. If you like classic Fantastic Four baddie, you're in for a treat. In the Marvel something presents? What is it?
Yeah, it's Marvel Comics Presents number
Comics
1.
Presents, which is old classic where they used to do a lot of like anthology put together. From what I understand, is if you miss out on the really good storytelling for Wolverine, you feel like they never really got back to the original storytelling. That I think this is the payoff for you. I think if you love classic Wolvie stuff, that this is going to make you really, really happy. I'm trying to think what else is really big that comes out this week. I feel like there's other things. Daredevil's been on everybody's mind because Daredevil proper is dead, and it's just Matt Murdock, and he's been in kind of a coma, and we've really just only seen interaction with Matt Murdock's personality, and he's got his friend Foggy, and they're just trying to like help him out. But we have pretty soon coming back. There's actually a Daredevil #1 that's listed, but that's under so much secrecy that they don't even tell regular retailers what's coming up. They just won't show us anything. Like, I don't think we have covers or anything that let us indicate what's happening next. So there's something really big going to happen for Daredevil as well.
I mean, if my mind was all cloudy, the last person I would want is someone named Foggy trying to clear it up. But we also have Superman 7. You said
I'm
Bendis is
excited.
doing an
I'm
awesome
loving
job
it.
with that, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
So that's going strong. And then one of the biggest hits initially of Rebirth was Suicide Squad.
Mhm.
That's ending at issue 50.
They're wrapping it up.
So I think are we done with stuff just going? I mean, are we going to have a lot of like starts and stops and restarts and?
I think they want to reimagine Harley Quinn.
Okay.
And that's why they're getting her out of there.
Well, right now, her standalone book is hotter than all get out.
Yeah.
It sells out all the time. Last week's variant cover was like hot way ahead of the release. And I think that she has another side book called Old Lady Harley.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious because she really is an old lady, but she still is herself, which is perfection.
And I also think maybe if it's not selling that well right now, just stop it. You can always come back with Suicide Squad. That's something easy to jump into.
Yes.
You don't know what's going to happen with Suicide Squad 2.
Right.
Whenever that does happen, you're going to want to promote the movie, and it might be a whole new cast of characters. So I think, I think those stories are, I haven't read this incarnation of the series, but that's just something like that, it's out in the field missions, like weekly missions. So that's something you could easily pick up. I am interested in that Marvel Comics Presents because, like you said, it gets back to the multiple stories per comic. You're going to feel like you're getting a good value. I believe, isn't Charles Soule contributing to that in some way?
He's always so good.
Yeah.
He really
I've
knows
read
what he's
his
doing.
Green Lantern run.
Mhm.
This thing.
So that's a good place to jump in if you want, to see that. But yeah, so get to your local comic store, pick up those and other comics. And then we're going to leave you with one last thing. The Simpsons went super meta. You've all seen that gif of Homer kind of backing into the bushes. Well, guess what they did? There was an episode that aired yesterday called Girl on the Bus. Lisa was at a friend's house. Homer texted her, "Hey, Lisa, where's my phone?" From his phone. And she said, "Well, Dad, you're texting me from your phone." So he inserted the gif of him walking backwards through the bushes.
I love that. I love that GIF. I love when people use it.
Because that's like the classic gif for letting me get back out of this situation. So that's all we got. We're going to back out of the bushes here on Nerd News Now. Join us next time from the Kingdom of Geekdom. Thanks to woodlandsonline.com and also the Comic Book Shopping Network, which we are now live every Monday, 9:30 p.m. Central. Catch more episodes at woodlandsonline.com for Nerd News Now. Mark, Ashford, and Miss Jen.